Hello everybody, I continue to cover a series of articles about Trump and his possible involvement with KGB. Articles by Michael D. Sellers, who is former CIA, but he is also writer, filmmaker, and so on. So this is a new series. He decided to have a deeper dive into into this story about Agent Krasnov. So it is first part in the series, Trump and KGB, how it all began, how the Czech StB, Czech analog of KGB, and Soviet KGB first became interested in Trump in 1970s and 1980s. Author's note, and you can see here Trump and his first wife Ivana Trump, but he had, of course, made a name different. Authors note clearly something is going on with Donald Trump and Russia. His actions in the past week make it absolutely clear that at minimum he sees a synchronicity between US interest and Russian interest and want to reshape US foreign policy around that belief. This is the benign explanation. It is, as intelligence analysts like to say, a possibility not to be excluded. And I do not exclude it. A benign explanation is indeed possible. But, but Trump's actions feel like defections from Team Free World to Team Russia and its authoritarian partners. This troubles me and has prompted me to decide to invest the time and effort necessary to take a meaningful, deeper look into the entire history of Donald Trump and the KGB. I don't go into this with a predetermined conclusion. I'm a former CIA officer, Russia specialist, and professional investigator, and I bring that mindset to the process. I just want to take a good, hard, detailed look at it and see where that leads. I will reach conclusions after the work is done. I invite you to join me on this journey and I welcome your comments and reactions. Okay, part 1. The rise of Donald Trump in 1970s. After graduating from Wharton School of Finance in 1968, Trump joined his father's company, Trump Management, which focused on middle-class rental housing in Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. In 1971, at the age of 25, he became president of the company and rebranded it as the Trump Organization, signaling his ambitions to expand its scope and influence. Trump's early ventures included the successful turnaround of the troubled Swifton Village apartment complex in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the development of the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan. The latter project, which involved the transformation of the aging Commodore Hotel into a gleaming glass-fronted landmark, was completed in 1980 and played a significant role in revitalizing the surrounding area. This high-profile project, combined with his assertive personality and media savvy, propelled Trump to the public eye and established him as a rising star in the real estate industry. Trump's political involvement included supporting Jimmy Carter in 1976. He was quoted as saying he favored the Democrats because of $20 billion in housing programs and federal subsidies that he felt certain would directly benefit his company. He made an initial contribution of $1,000 to the Carter campaign. Then was asked by a journalist if he would give more. Is it permissible, he asked. Then I will give another $1,000. By 1977, Donald Trump was well established as a prominent figure in New York City's real estate landscape. So by 1977, this is the year when he married a foreign national from Eastern Bloc, from Soviet Bloc, from Socialist Bloc, from Warsaw Pact country, Zelnichkova, Ivana Zelnichkova. Okay, before Trump KGB, there was StB, the Czech Security Service. Sorry, I have not shown you my... Okay. Trump and Ivana. Ivana Trump, born Ivana Maria Zelnichkova on February 20, 1949, in Gotwaldov, now Zlin, Czechoslovakia, was the only child of Maria, a telephone operator, and Miloš Zelniček, an engineer. She was a natural athlete, and recognizing this, her father nurtured her skiing talents, leading her to compete with the Czechoslovakian national ski team during her youth. She pursued higher education in Charles University in Prague, where she studied physical education. In 1968, she married Alfred Winkelmeyer, an Austrian ski instructor. This marriage allowed her to obtain Austrian citizenship, which in turn facilitated her departure from communist Czechoslovakia. After their divorce in 1973, she relocated to Canada, where she worked as a ski instructor and later ventured into modeling. Her modeling career eventually brought her to New York City in 1976, where she was promoting the upcoming Montreal Olympics, scheduled for later that year. It was during this 1976 trip to New York that Ivana met Donald Trump. According to her memoir, Trump secured a table for Ivana and her friends at a popular Manhattan restaurant, paid the bill, and provided them with transportation back to their hotel. This chance meeting led to a whirlwind romance, of course, culminating in their marriage in April 9, 1977 at Marble Collegiate Church, officiated by Norman Vincent Peale. The StB takes an interest. A declassified June 1977 StB report from an informant with the cover name Lubas described Ivana's departure from Czechoslovakia to Austria, her marriage to Winkelmeyer, and reported additional details, including that she had worked in Austria at a petrol station. After the divorce, the informant claimed she immigrated to Canada and in 1977 married the American Donald Trump. The StB file contains a travel permit that had allowed Ivana to leave Czechoslovakia, as well as the initial report from Lubas. So this is the travel permit. It is with Nidoложка, meaning the permit to leave the country. Zelnichkova Ivana, then the date of birth, then where she was born, where she lives, and where he is traveling. Rakushko, it means Austria. But you can see that here, then at later date, somebody write Trump, in Czech manner, not Ivana Trump, but Ivana Trumpova, like Zelnichkova, Trumpova. And also that there is a stamp that she was naturalized in USA in 25 of May 1988. So it is in this file for her. But then there are some other. I think that's enough. Ivana's father, Miloš Zelniček. According to Czech historian Tomáš Vilimek, an encrypted document from 1979 states that the telephone calls between Ivana and her father were to be wiretapped at least once per year. The mail exchange was monitored. The report also references Trump's children's visits to their grandfather in Czechoslovakia and notes that Ivana spoke Czech with her children when they were in the United States. The report also noted that the friends, and acquaintances of her family in the Czechoslovakia Socialist Republic were. Wilmek goes on to say Ivana's father was registered as a confidant of the StB. However, that does not mean that he was an agent. The Czechoslovakia authorities forced him to talk to them because of his journeys to the United States and his daughter. Otherwise, he would not have been allowed to fly. So, meaning that they would not permit him to leave Czech Republic. I mean, I was first when I heard that he was, reporting on his daughter, I thought that he was forced to do that, and he had no other choice. But if he was able to fly out of, to go out of this country to United States, and he was father-in-law of, of Donald Trump. I think he could stay in United States. He could have defected, but he decided to come back and to inform on his daughter and on his son-in-law to Czechoslovakian, KGB analog. So not really a good person, I think. I mean, he had a way out. He could leave, and then he could stay there in the United States. I think he could. He was an electrical engineer. He could have some kind of, maybe not that same work, but he could find job there. Even without the help of Trump or his daughter. Okay, so not really good person in my opinion. Okay, indeed, the once-a-year wiretap in 1979 was likely undertaken as a control measure to ensure Miloš Zelniček was reporting truthfully, because in fact he has been recruited as an informant 2 years earlier in 1977, not long after his daughter married Trump. The exact details of how Zelniček was recruited remain partially obscured, but available records suggest a combination of coercion and strategic pressure. First, airport interception during a trip to the United States for Ivana's wedding in 1977. Zelniček was subjected to a search of his possessions at the airport upon his return to Czechoslovakia. This action was interpreted as a warning, signaling that cooperation with the StB was necessary for future international travel permission. Historian Peter Blazek noted the intervention at the airport was carried out on the orders of an StB officer. Okay, I mean, it was not. It was quite often that people are searched at the airports, especially during Soviet era. I was searching Ukraine in the beginning of 2000, because on my flying out, because for some reason airport authorities thought that I was smuggling money, which I was not. So they decided that I somewhere on me, maybe in my pants or wherever else, I was having some great sum of money, but I was not. Just they decided to search me. So probably he was just put in a separate room and was asked and approached that. I don't think that it was just simple search, because simple search is nothing unusual. It was nothing unusual, except that he was having something illegal on him. He was trying to smuggle something in Czechoslovakia, and he was caught. If he doesn't have anything and he was searched, there is absolutely nothing out of the ordinary of being searched during Soviet time, coming from abroad back to Soviet Union. It had to be expected that you will be searched. Coercion and compliance. The StB often employed tactics that leveraged an individual's desire for personal or familial well-being. In Zelniček's case, he wished to maintain contact with his daughter, and her new family in the United States would have made him susceptible to StB pressure. By cooperating, he could ensure the possibility of future visits and avoid potential repercussions. Role and classifications. Within the StB framework, informants were categorized based on their level of involvement in the nature of the information they provided. Conspiratorial informant. Zelniček was designated as a conspiratorial informant, indicating a clandestine relationship with the StB. This classification suggests that while he was not a formal agent, he maintained a covered channel of communication with the secret police, providing information discreetly. Author comments. He was not, as some have suggested, in the StB. Rather, he was co-opted by the StB to report on Trump and Ivana, meaning that he was not career officer of state police or state security. In Zelensky's case, his role as an informant involved relaying information about his daughter's activities and her husband's burgeoning career in the United States. There is no evidence to suggest that he underwent formal training or was assigned specific espionage missions, distinguishing him from a full-fledged agent. The StB's Operation Ivana. Under the code name Ivana, the StB undertook an operation designed to surveil Trump through Milish and other sources with the goal of assessing whether Trump might show promise as a potential recruitment agent. A key component to the operation was reporting Zelensky provided the StB on his daughter's life in the United States, including insights into Trump's real estate projects and his political aspirations. This familial connection offered the StB strong vantage point into Trump's affairs, enabling them to monitor his activities closely. The Czech service maintained an active dossier, meticulously documenting his business dealings and public statements. This assessment extended beyond Ivana's familial ties, reflecting a broader strategy to cultivate influential Western figures who could be leveraged to serve Eastern Bloc interests. Then there is again this about this encrypted document and so on. I don't know why the repetition here. So enter the KGB. As a general rule, the activities of StB were closely coordinated with their big brother organization, the KGB. This collaboration would have aimed to assess and, if results of assessment were favorable, exploit Trump's growing prominence in American society, with both agencies sharing intelligence and strategizing on potential avenues to influence or recruit him. According to former KGB officer Yuri Shvets, the beginning of KGB active direct involvement with Trump, as opposed to indirect contact via StB, occurred in 1980, as Trump was in the final stages of converting the Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt New York. According to Shvets, Trump purchased 200 television sets from Semyon Sam Kislin, a Ukrainian Jew who immigrated from Odessa in 1972 and was co-owner of a small midtown electronics store operating under the name Joylat Electronics. Like many Jewish emigres, Kislin had been co-opted by the KGB. Kislin, according to Shvets, was a spotter agent who, through the transaction with Trump, provided assessment and access to Trump, which the KGB would use to good advantage. It was from this point forward that the KGB would begin active cultivation of Donald Trump, to be continued. So, as I said in the beginning of the video, it is just the first part one in the series about the involvement of Trump and KGB. He is making a deeper dive into this situation. Michael D. Sellers, author and former CIA Russia specialist, and I will inform you about next articles. Thank you for watching, and until next time.